Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Wealthy Boss Show. I'm your host, Mariah C. Chris Comer, and if you spend a lot of time at your desk and are starting to notice that you have a little bit of lower back pain that's been creeping up, then this episode is for you. We're going to talk about 3 different strategies for preventing back pain in the first place, and then I'm going to give you a great resource so you can start to put these things into action right away. So first of all, go ahead and give this a share if you think this could be helpful to someone else, someone in your tribe. Of course, I would appreciate if you go ahead and remember to share that with them so that they can reduce their pain as well. We have enough demands on our time and energy as entrepreneurs than to have to worry about physical pain as well. However, most of us that are entrepreneurs, whether we run an online business or just in this day and age, even if we have a brick and mortar business, so many of us spend our time in front of computers, working on our marketing, connecting with clients. And what that can often mean is that we are spending so much time sitting that it starts to take a physical toll, especially on our lower backs. So even though you might not necessarily control the amount of time that you're spending in front of your desk, my first strategy is to see what you can control in terms of being on your behind. So even if you work at a desk, I would encourage you to get up at least every hour. You can set a reminder on your phone. You can also use the app, If This Then That, which is just IFTTT. Let me think it up. If This Then That. Yes, ifttt.com. They have a great desktop and application version. Excuse me, I should have grabbed a glass of water to get started tonight. But moving as much as possible is going to at least mitigate the amount of pressure and compression that you're putting on your spine. When we are sitting, we are putting 11 times more pressure between the vertebrae than when we're lying down and sleeping. So that's a really intense amount of extra pressure. What that means is that over time, as our vertebrae start to compress together, we start to erode the spongy intervertebral discs that are in place that are meant to cushion and protect the spine. So once we start to wear that down, then we can start to set ourselves up for more serious injuries like herniated discs, which of course is a result of disc degeneration. So anything that we can do to reduce the amount of compression on our spines is going to keep that spine functioning for you longer and ward off some of those more serious injuries. So again, I know we are spending a lot of time at our computers, a lot of time working. So maybe consider just getting up a couple of times during an hour, but you also could look at ways that you still can stand up and just get a little bit sneaky about it. Even if you don't have a standing desk, I know for myself when I'm working on my business, and I spend a lot of time in front of the computer. I work a full-time day job and I run an online business. But for myself, when I have some control over it, especially when I'm at home working on my business, then I'll just maybe set my laptop up at the kitchen counter in order to stand and alternate standing and sitting, which is going to be helpful to bring that movement to your spine and reduce that amount of time that you are compressing the vertebrae. Standing is better than sitting. Now, you don't also want to stand all day long, so ideally you're actually alternating between standing and sitting. Also, see if you can take your phone calls standing up. A lot of times we just get in the habit of sitting during our phone calls, but hey, if you've got meetings to take care of, why not just stand up, walk around? You could even just throw some squats in to add some extra movement to that. So that is strategy number 1, is just find those pockets where you can stand up more, move your laptop to an up-high service, and reduce the amount of time that you are compressing your spine. Strategy number 2 is make sure that you are doing some type of strengthening exercises for your abdominals. This one might actually surprise you, but if you have weak abdominals, which if you're sitting all day long, chances are you do, if you have too much weakness in the front of the abdominals, this actually leads to more stress in the spine. What it does is it creates a looser midsection, and it can throw off the curvature of your spine. So you can counteract this by doing exercises like crunches, like planks. Any variation of planks are really, really good antidote to building up some strength in your abdominals, which will help balance out the curvature of your spine. Number 3, these are really easy to implement, and I'll give you a great resource at the end, but number 3 in our list of strategies for the Desk Warrior's Guide to Preventing Low Back Pain is to make sure that you are stretching, specifically stretching your hip flexors, which runs right in front of your hips, your hamstrings, and your low back. Now, of course, your low back, you could probably figure that one out, but the hamstrings might be what surprises you. So just like if we have weak abdominals and that causes our midsection to be a little slack, that can throw off the curvature, the natural S-curve of our spine. If we have very tight hamstrings, which can also come about as a result of sitting too much, then this also works from the back side of the body to throw that curve out. So what happens is if your hamstrings are very tight, they contract, they shorten, and what that does is that actually starts to add stress into the low back and pull and tug on that low back and create pain where you don't need to have it. So anything that we can reduce, any pain that we can reduce, any steps that we can take to prevent this in the first place is absolutely worth its weight in gold. You're going to pay off so much of it in terms of avoiding being out for medical leave or having expensive surgery bills on down the line. And you just want to feel better as well. You don't do your best work when you're in pain. So stretching your hip flexors, your low back, and your hamstrings is actually going to do a lot of reversal of that damage that you are having to do to your spine when you're sitting so much. I recommend that you're stretching at least 3 times a week, holding these stretches for a good 30 seconds. A 5 or 10 second stretch doesn't do that much. You really want to get into that full range of motion by being patient. Of course, you never want to force or struggle, but slowly deepening your breath and holding for a count of about 30 to 60 seconds. I'm going to recommend it for 3 times a week. That number is not a magical number. Try and see what feels good for you. Of course, every day would be ideal. I've noticed for myself as I've gotten into my 30s that doing yoga once a week doesn't necessarily cut it for helping my back feel completely at ease and free of pain. So I find I have to work it at least a couple of times a week. 3 would be great, something to shoot for. And it doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 10 minutes as you're watching TV or maybe winding down for the evening, listening to some music. That can be a really great wind down ritual as well. I will have a resource for you to help with this. It is a 15-minute gentle yoga video. It is specifically targeted to those areas that we discussed, especially your low back and your hips. So it's going to release these areas that are tightening up all day long and holding a lot of tension and allow a little bit of space to come back in between the vertebrae. This is going to allow that interstitial fluid that lubricates your joints to have some space to come back into those discs, get them nice and protective and spongy again, just the way that nature intended for them to be. So this video is yours. It's absolutely free. You can download it by texting the word yoga please to the number 33444. So again, that keyword is yoga please. It's all one word, so you can put it all in capitals. And the number again to text that to is 33444. One more time, text yoga please to 33444. You'll be asked to then enter in your email address and I will send you my gentle yoga video that you can try right away. You can try it tonight. I would recommend again trying it about 3 times a week to start to get that ongoing improvement in how you feel. So I hope you try it out. Please, of course, let me know how you like the video, if you'd like more things like that. And I am usually here every Tuesday at 5:45 Mountain Standard Time, with the one exception of next week. I'm actually getting ready to move. We are moving into a new house, so I will not be there next week. But of course, I always like to hear your feedback. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below in the meantime. And I really appreciate you stopping by. I know you're busy. So the fact that you check in here every week and you check your emails if you're on my email list and you participate in our private Facebook community, which can be found at wealthybosscommunity.com. I appreciate that so much, and I always promise to give you the most bang for your buck. My goal is to never waste your time, but it'll only improve how you take care of yourself insofar as you can take care of everything else around you that's important. When you're taking care of your body, when you're attentive to its basic needs, you're actually going to find you get much better results in all those other areas of your life that are important. And not only that, you're going to enjoy it a lot more. That's all for now. Take care.